Okay, so this is day one after having gotten my chassis back and me getting a chance to put my body on, which is a moment I have been waiting for over a decade now. So, some of my concerns, happy spots, all that. So anyway, um, the thing is I got to figure out my lip, right? Um, some of the design change. I know there's going to be a lot of design changes from when I started this original body kit back in 2011. So the thing is, I started doing a wide body kit, for the Zonda in a lot of different ways. So you'll see a lot of different materials on here, from styrofoams to roofing material, obviously Bondo, fiberglass. I've used wood up there in the front. So the thing is, um, I'm the king of improvising. I don't know what else to really tell you. This is also when I learned how to use fiberglass. So I didn't even know the catalyst ratio between the catalyst and the resin, and how temperature affects it. The cold is going to slow it down. The heat's going to speed it up. Like, I knew nothing when I started this whole project. Any case, so concerns. This is basically just thoughts coming out that I gotta contend with. So one is, on original Zonda, the lip, there is no lip. The rear rocker just goes over the wheel, kind of just tucked like that, and then that's it. The Huayra has a little bit of a lip, like I think 2.5 inches or something like that. Now, I've originally fabricated a lip on the front. I'm not removing that. I like that. I like how it feeds out to the canard and it's all one piece. So I'm gonna have to continue that to the back. The fact that I have a 22-inch rim in the back is significant too. So then now we gotta factor in, the suspension and movement and all that. So next question is like, well, do I tuck the body in to allow that lip, or do I just put a spacer on there and then put the lip on the outside of the fender and keep it moving? Now, if I keep it here and I just add a lip, then now the rest of the body seems like it would be in sync with the door, the fender, and all that. If I tuck it in to allow the lip, then now this whole rocker is tucked in. Now you can. It's my design, my rules. I don't know how that affects the aerodynamics or whatever. First thought that I have right now, the Koenigsegg is like that, or the Regera, something like that. It kind of has a taper in the rear. I'm not exactly crazy about that. I kind of like, I guess, what they call the cheese wedge. Basically, bigger in the back, and as it gets tapered in the center, and then, skinny in the front. That's basically how most supercars are. That's the way the Zonda is. I kind of like that aesthetic. The Aventador is like that. So anyway, that's here, the rocker. I obviously got to get real creative right here, because this is where the turbos are. So I got to have a lot of air coming in here. I'm thinking originally this is supposed to be for the brake ducts right here, and this is supposed to be actuated. Where the brake duct was right there, I cut it off, and I was going to actuate this whole panel to come up. So I don't know if I want this to come up for the air or for the turbos that go down there. Air for intercooler, air for the brake duct steel, since the air is going to be coming up here. Most likely that's what it's going to have to be. So that'll probably be air for the brake duct. And then probably, because I can obviously route it, because the air comes in, I can route it to the brake duct, and I can route it to the cold side of the turbo, and then here is for the intercooler. So that's most likely going to be what that's for. Obviously, we've got our side skirt. So glad we got mounting panels. That's going to be fun. So as we get around front, I don't know if I'm able to use the windshield. I'm going back and forth in regards to, do I use the Superlight monocoque? Or I don't want to say monocoque, but this is actually a monocoque, but the chassis mount, or the body for the Superlight, because it's obviously all well intact, right? You got the doors are already here, the hinges that are already there, the framing for the windshield. I actually have the windshield, so that can fast forward a lot, and then just basically build around, because the door, the wideness, some of the contours are all the same. I don't think I would, to fast forward everything, I could cut this up, just cut all this away, and then have my rear quarter connect to it, and then we use the doors and then cut all this away because the fender is in the way for that, and then just basically just use the center. So you're going to make an incision here, come around, so that cuts away, and then incision, cut around, that cuts away, or duplicate it. Now my front lip, it is too wide, sticks out right here, but I end up widening this because I wanted to do a 3-seater. So not alarmed by that. It's just wood, as you see there. That's gonna go away. My front hood does not fit on here at all whatsoever. It's literally gonna have to be recreated. So whole nother issue, whole nother chunk of time to fabricate. My pillars I left on here. If you notice, it's a big deal for the Superlight to me to actually have a window to roll down, because you either have a fixed window or you have that half cutout. I want a functional window. So as you see here, the window that I have, and this is for a Corvette window, it'll come down onto the frame. So obviously that can't happen. So if I move the whole thing back, it still goes with the theme of the car. It actually can kind of work, right? But I don't know. I just don't know if it's gonna work, because if I move it back, then I have to figure out, well, okay, how are my pillars gonna be between the windshield and the door? Can't have that too wide. You know, the static has to flow. The roll cage is obviously exposed too. If I do the Zonda windshield, which that's my mock-up, and the black is basically the 6 inches that I put into it to widen it to accommodate the 3-seater that I was originally going to do. So I can shorten it, but I think it actually needs it wide in order to take up the space, and then connect it to the windshield. So you already know about the rear, and I think I'm going to keep it that way. I have the center. Oh, the center's up over here for the rear decklet. I also have to keep in mind too, how am I going to open this up? So my turbos are going to be here, right? So just like I have space here, you know, like what kind of access am I going to give myself for servicing or to take care of whatever, so I wouldn't have to take the whole body apart. I originally thought about just having the rear open up so I can have access to the suspension, the motor, whatever, but I don't know if I should leave this body attached such that you can't have access to the turbos, and having a rear clamshell might actually have to be, so that way I can have access to everything. So there I am back with that, which is not a big deal, you know, but that does mean that I might have to stitch everything back together, and you make that all one piece. At least I have hinges from the other clamshell from the RCR body. So basically, in a nutshell, that is where I am. Got a lot of work to do though, but I'm glad that now that I'm back in the game, at least I know what I'm up against. I know what materials I can use in order to do what I need to do, and get the ball rolling. I actually have, you know, a reference of a chassis to work around, and components, and why I need to have air. Looking at this front hood, like, it doesn't fit there at all. I literally have to recreate that. That's just a wrap. That's just concept right there. So anyway, that is it. And again, this is day one.